Hello everyone, this is Tantra 101 and this is your host Morningstar. Now I'll be continuing recording this audio podcast, and the reason is because I still see a lot of people have a huge misunderstanding and a huge gap between reality of Tantra and the New Age movement, where they think Tantra is just another way of Kama Sutra, where lots of people, especially in North America, they think that Tantra is how to make love to your partner, or a lot of cases, not even your partner, just like anybody. How to release yourself with just anybody in one night stand. Guess what? This is not Tantra, guys. This is called fooling around, whatever you want to call it. I have no judgment, and I will pass no judgment for that, because we all at a different level of a evolutionary ladder. Evolutionary meaning in the spirit, in our intelligence, in our physical body, of course, and in humanity as all, right? So, in this hopefully short podcast, I will dive in, but not so deep. I'm not going to be a deep diver in this podcast, but I want to highlight a couple of things that been I shouldn't say bothering, but they been on my mind, because some of you know I do teach, and I hold one-on-one sessions, as well as I do workshops, Tantra workshops for couples, for singles. Again, when people hear singles or couples, they think it's going to be like a dating kind of event, like they do a lot in Toronto. So Tantra became a dating thingy, where people get together, smile, hug, I guess some light kiss, eating together, completely messing up with the root of Tantra, because Tantra is a branch of Kundalini. It's actually Kundalini yoga that very early developed from Hatha yoga. Okay? So this type of yoga is thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands years old. Much older than any Christianity, than Islam, than Judaism, than even some branches of Buddhism. Okay? Although in Buddhism they also practice certain type of Tantra. Now, sometime you will hear or you will find a name, tantric yogi practitioner. Now, is that supposed to mean that those guys get together and just have a wild sex, or some kind of hugging, touching, hot stuff, hot business? No. It's where people fully dressed, fully clothed. They will be sitting in a enclosed environment, although sometime outside they do too. But remember, on the outside, we get much more. We get much more stimulation by our brain when we're outside, especially when we hear the birds chirping, the sound of a wind, or if it's in nature, then there is much more temptation to let your mind go somewhere else. So when we in places like temple, or a building, means like a classroom, or a place where the people organize for Tantra or for yoga retreat or workshop. I will call it rather workshop than retreat. So then we'll be talking about more focusing. Now, can we practice Tantra together? Absolutely. If we are partners, if we are couples, if you are wife and husband, if you are couples that are being together more than one day at least, hopefully more than 1 month, and we have a serious intentions for each other, to each other, and we have respected each other differences, we have respected each other's space, we have respected each other aura, and then physical body. So first I'm talking about the spiritual, or you can go, otherwise you can go start with physical, respecting each other, physical body, physical appearance, our avatar that's given us in this lifetime, as well as respecting our boundaries, and respecting when your partner is saying no. Okay, now I will highlight that in a bit, in a few more sentences after this. So again, why we practice Tantra and why everyone needs Tantra? Well, number one is, in this busy, crazy, hectic world, everyone needs a feel safe, relieved, and also time for him or herself. Time to be with your own heart, with your own mind. Simply listen to your heartbeat. That's already Tantra. Simply enjoying a proper healthy meal without constantly scrolling your phone, without watching and changing channels on your TV, or without arguing with your wife or kids. Just enjoying in a silence your meal, tasting every bit of the delicious food you made or maybe you bought. Better if you make it, because then you put your intentions, your aura, your prana, your energy. Now, can we say that we can take a meal in a tantric way? Absolutely. It's when you focus on every piece, on every inch, on every flavor. When if I make a salad, or if I make, especially fruits in the summer, when you make a beautiful fruit salad, and that smell goes everywhere in your living room, and you just like, by inhaling, you can already taste those little tiny, teeny particles, nanoparticles on the top of your tongue, right? So that's tantric. When you put that beautiful meal and you enjoying it without thinking how many things you're supposed to do today, how many clicks you're supposed to do on Instagram. Oh my God, I didn't watch the TikTok. Let me watch the TikTok. So when you purely immerse in the process of eating a food, right? Now, don't make it like a religion. Eating food means with with your conscious, because what happens is, when we take in food unconsciously, paying attention to some TV talk show, to some Instagram, or some videos that are always go on a Facebook, and we're constantly scrolling, we don't even feel if we chewed that food or not. And if I ask you in 10 or 15 minutes, what did you eat, you're probably not going to remember it. It's because it was not taken consciously. Now, the quality of the food. The more consciously you will be taking your food, the less food you will need. Okay? Number one is because you will probably chew that food proper, right? The second one is you will be enjoying, because why do we eat? To feel that heavy load in our stomach? Or some of us do. But for most part, we eat because we enjoy the taste, we enjoy the texture, we enjoy the aroma of that, the smell. And that's why taking little piece and eating slowly and swallow without rush is the best way. It's the most tantric way to take your food. Now, what type of food as a yogi or as a tantric practitioner or as the people who want to practice Tantra, who want to elevate their conscious, their mind, their spirit, who want to get out of this meat bag full of bones and and other secretions, right? Secretions, by choosing consciously what we eat. So what's your conscious food? Anything that didn't die prior. Yes. I'm not talking about you have to become vegan. I'm talking about you have to become conscious at what you're putting in your temple. Because your body, your physical body is your temple and this life. And a piece of God, which is part of your soul, it's a piece of God, piece of Shiva, piece of higher consciousness, live in this body, in your body, in your physical meat bag, basically. I would rather call it temple or avatar. Although a lot of people have, unfortunately, a meat bag rather than temple, because how they treat that temple, it becomes a meat bag. So, conscious food, it's supposed to follow ahimsa or akimsa. What is akimsa? Is the yogi law or philosophy, it's not the law, it's philosophy, of non-violence. Meaning, when you eat that piece of strawberry, blueberry, bread, etc., it's non-violent. Nobody had to die for that, nobody bled for that, nobody went to slaughterhouse to kill that piece of bread or piece of lime or piece of cucumber. Now, when we're talking about an animal flesh in any portion, in any amount, even if you eat that once a month, as some of my clients say, oh, I eat meat only once a month. It doesn't matter if you eat once a month or once a year. You basically polluting your temple with a death. Because it doesn't matter if that poor creature was killed at the slaughterhouse or in the most holy way. Some religions believe there is a holy way to kill. I don't think so. But even if that poor creature was killed in the most holy way, it still represents death in the yoga philosophy and in philosophy of non-violence. So that's why staying away from food like eggs, meat, fish, that represent death. Although I met some vegetarians, they call themselves vegetarians and they still consuming eggs. I still not sure how the egg is considered to be vegetable. It's basically a baby of a chicken or another bird. Even if it's not fertile, there is still life was supposed to be there. It's almost like if you say, well, if the woman is pregnant and you kill and cook her, and you're like, where's the baby? There was no baby. Yeah, there was a child inside, she buried. So egg represents life. It doesn't matter if it's a fertile egg. Some people say, well, they're not fertile. Doesn't matter. It's essence representation of life that you cook and eat. And think about on a spiritual level, what does it represent? I'm not trying to be difficult here, because I can see your face going, frowning. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm done listening to this. You may leave my podcast right now and never listen to this again, or you may stay and might find something that will touch your heart. Maybe it will change your life. Maybe it will change your life forever. So non-violence way of living, it doesn't stop at the food choices or what you put in your temple or in your stomach. It's also a non-violence way of communicating to the world. To the world, I mean anything and everything. Communicating with your children, if you don't have children, with your partners, if you don't have partners, with the people outside, and even with your own self. Because love starts with you or inside you. That's why in Tantra meditations we spend some time on practicing chanting certain mantras and focusing on our heart chakra. Why is it important? Because heart chakra represents self-acceptance and self-love. If you judgmental to your own self, if you hate yourself, if you don't approve yourself on a daily basis, how you can go outside and appreciate other people? That's why we have so many people miserable and judgmental and constantly angry and constantly worrying, constantly anxious about something. Is the biggest reason is they are not happy inside. They're miserable inside, in fact. They hate themselves. They don't want to admit it. They say, no, it's all the world. It's the fault of some presidents, some prime ministers, or fault of MPs, or fault of your neighbor. Or maybe it's a fault of immigrants. And so on and so forth. But in reality, there is nobody's fault. It's you are either at peace with yourself or at war with yourself. And if you are at war with yourself, that means you're at war with the rest of the world. Because you're constantly translating that to the outside world. That I hate myself and I hate you as a representation of me. Okay. The scientists were doing a lot of researches, and apparently our heart resonate and emits a huge amount of electromagnetic field, more than our brain. Yeah, more than our brain. You can research that. I'm not gonna go deep into this research. A lot of people like facts and proof, and maybe later on in this podcast down below I might just leave some links. It depends if I'm gonna remember at the end of when I post this podcast on my YouTube. So let's continue. So we're talking about non-violence and self-appreciation, self-love. So in Tantra, number one, it's to understand that you are not really you. You are, how we say when we close the chanting, or when we finish our prayer and meditation and chanting mantras in some type of kriya yoga, we say Satnam. What is Satnam? Satnam, it means that I'm God and God is me, or I'm a part of that higher consciousness. There is no exact translation. There are multiple meanings in a saying Satnam. Satnam. So by hating yourself, you're basically hating God or divine, if you don't call it God, because you are part of the divine. Either you want it or you don't. You are part of divine. You are part of creation. And by starting appreciating yourself, by starting appreciating who you are, learning more about yourself, you will start to learn appreciate others. You will start to appreciate everything around you. You will start to appreciate even if you are not in your perfect physical appearance. Maybe you have some extra inches on your on your waistline. Maybe you look older than your age. Maybe you're bald. Maybe you're way too skinny that most of the people think that something wrong with you, but you're just skinny. No matter amount of food you you take, you still stay skinny, which is, I find, it's probably good. But I'm just I'm like I have to crack a little joke, right, to make it more light. So it doesn't matter what your appearance, it doesn't matter on your talents, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, skin color, race, nationality, etc. What's important is how you see yourself, how you approach yourself, how you treat yourself. Do you love yourself? Do you bless your body every morning when you wake up? As the Yogi Bhajana was talking about when he was alive, one of his lecture, he was saying when he was 3 years of age, either one of his relatives or his babysitter, I can't remember, but anyway, one of the adults came on his 3rd birthday and gave him a gift. He said, now from now on, every morning when you wake up, you will bless your body. And you will do this particular way. So first you start with your head, with your hair, with your ears, with your eyes, with your nose, with your face, etc., etc., with your neck, with your chest, shoulders and arms, back and front, stomach and hips, and so on until you reach your toes. And this person said, do 8 minutes a day. I think like 5 minutes, 3 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, or the opposite. I don't, but that's not that important. So do 8 minutes, only 8 minutes a day, and you will see how life will become beautiful. And so Yogi Bhajana was started to practice that, and apparently his caregiver was giving him this self-blessing kind of prayer slash poem in a poetic way. So it was a rhyming. And recently I was watching one of the old recording of Yogi Bhajana, and he was talking about this exactly, how we bless every morning. When you wake up, you bless your body, your own body, right? When you go to bed, you do the same, and you appreciate for being able to take a breath, for being able to digest the food, for being able to see, for being able to touch, to hear, and so on. Because there is so many people who cannot hear, and they have to wear a hearing aid. There's so many people who cannot see, who are blind. I think when you're born as a blind, it's probably easier than when you become a blind during your lifetime, because you know what you lost. Some people just have impaired vision. They see but very poorly, which is probably even more confusing, because there is a world out there, but you can barely see it. And then there is a people who have no limbs. Some people have no legs, no arms. But you can see on some of the world famous people, they're traveling around the world. They're writing books, they have children. So for most of us, for those of us who have everything, we should feel so blessed, and we should thank our body, divine, God or gods, every day for that, every day of our life in this lifetime. Yet a lot of us wake up miserable. Oh my God, it's another day, I have to go to work. Oh my God, this wife of mine, she's so loud in the kitchen. She just like washing these dishes and singing. Oh my God, these children, annoying children in the morning, why they so loud? And we're constantly miserable. And we are miserable not because of those people, because inside you are not accomplished. Inside you don't like yourself. Inside you're not in harmony with yourself. So how we can achieve that? How we can turn that wheel and make it spin the opposite way, in the most beautiful, in the most happy, in the most harmonious way that we can imagine? Well, by practicing yoga, by practicing kriya, by practicing tantra, by creating a safe environment, just 5-10 minutes in the morning, 5-10 minutes before you go to bed. And if you live with your partner, if you live with your family, then you can always include them. I know some of you will say right now, oh my God, my wife will never do that, or like, oh, my kids, like, absolutely not. But guess what? You don't need to push anybody to do anything. By doing it yourself, by giving a self-example, usually is the best way of educating. Some people say, or you have to teach kids do this, do that. It's such a hard job. No, you don't have to teach kids to do anything. You just live by it, by principle of life, by principle of higher consciousness, by principle of a best example of a human that you want your kids to be when they grow up. By living it, not by talking about that. A lot of us talk about that, but we live exactly the opposite of what we say. And that's where the kids learn all that. Yeah. What else about Tantra? What else is good about Tantra? When you practice Tantra, you might develop a special skills, such as prophetic dreaming, such as you'll be able to see people or to see the person before this person even open his or her mouth. You will feel the intention of that person. I personally, when people come to me to the sessions, I sometimes I can glimpse and I can see even their environment in their house. I can see there's certain things that surround them at their home. Sometimes I even see their loved ones, and sometimes I say, sometimes I don't, because sometimes it scares people. This special abilities, but these special abilities are not so special, as we are all how should I say, born with them. We are all have them. We just have to develop them, and the way to develop them is to practice Tantra, to practice to recite mantras, to work on pranayam, on breathing technique. And again, you don't need to do it hours and hours in a day, although you can and you may if you have that extra time. But considering that most of us are very busy with our life, with our job, with businesses, with family members, even 10 days in the morning and 10 minutes in the day, or in the morning, or 10 minutes before you go to bed, will start to create that positive spin or positive vortex around you, positive aura around you. Okay, so let's finalize what we discussed today so far. So number one, I mentioned about Tantra and the positive aspect in terms of practicing it. I also mentioned about ahimsa or akimsa is a non-violence way of approaching this world, of communicating, also by choosing consciously what you put in your body, meaning food. Non-violence approach to yourself, right, which is the most important, because from you everything else comes or goes or runs away. And I also mentioned that Tantra is not about sexual experience. In fact, it's so far from that people don't realize when they go for this Tantra dating that it's just the catchy word that a lot of people right now use to catch people's attention, to trigger their mind, and especially for those people who are so preoccupied with sex per se, and with indulging in different sexual how should I say it, practice exercises. I don't know how to say even the right way, but anyway, who are too much into the physical realm. Now, if you want to book an appointment or find more about me practice, you can check my website. The website will be posted down below. I believe it's Morningstar Tantra at gmail.com, but I will post it down below because I have a few websites. Sometimes I get a little confused. And the last but not least, I just want to say this last message I have to say that remember sexual experience and indulging in sex, it's only one tiny part of our life, and you cannot make your life spinning around your sexual desires. That's why we practice Tantra, to tame this wild beast, to tame this wild animal inside us. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, because men and women sometimes they go too wild about the subject. And it is important to tame and understand that not only by allowing yourself to have too much of the sexual experience, or too many of the sexual experience with different people, especially, you not only are losing yourself, but you're also losing a lot of prana, living energy. You're losing a lot of good vibration, because if that person doesn't stay with you, that person takes a piece of you from you and goes away. That's why women or men who have a lot of sexual experiences and a lot of partners, sometimes they feel withdrawn, they feel lack of energy, they feel depressed. Is because all those pieces of you have been taken away from you. So if you want to practice some sexuality, the sexual energy is just one of the strongest one in the world, and the one that we have. Practice it with your partner, practice it with your husband or wife, practice with somebody that you trust, practice with somebody that you will come back to this person. If it's your guru, if it's somebody that trustworthy, somebody that's clean in their mind, somebody that appreciate you and your body and your aura and treat you with respect, treat you as a temple of God. Imagine if all of us would treat each other as the temples of God. Imagine how the world would become a different place for every species that live on this planet. So I will leave you with that, thinking, contemplating. You can do research, you can do more research on that, and I will post more information. I will add more into my blog on my website, so you can read more, because some people like to listen, some people like to read. We are different. And make sure I will discuss that further in more details in my series Tantra 101. I appreciate your time and that you listen to this podcast all the way to the end, some of you. Yeah. And I will meet you again in the next podcast. I'm not sure what exactly I will be covering, but once I get a better mic, right now I'm using an outdated mic because I could not find my other one. So you guys have to just deal with those little pieces of noises that around me so far. But I promise I will make a next podcast, next audio a bit better, or a whole lot better. Okay, so for more information, check down below this podcast, this audio recording. And to tell the truth, you don't need anybody. You just need your desire to learn, your ability to listen, ability to sometime create that safe space, safe environment, quiet your mind, and go within and listen to your heart, and listen to what your higher consciousness has to tell you. Okay? All right. Have a lovely afternoon, morning, or night, whatever time of day you have, or night. Be blessed, and Satnam.